In the final section, we'll be covering a Redd Volkaert solo over the Workin' Man Blues. To start this solo off, we'll be quoting the original James Burton melody, but using double stops. The first phrase of this solo will sound like this. Our double stops are working out of the A chord, A shape, and connecting up to the A chord, E shape. These double stops are harmonized in thirds. So we have an A and C sharp, a B and D, and then a C sharp and E. And we can chromatically connect these going up and down. If you would like to learn more about these types of double stops, please consider checking out the Music Theory for the Country Guitarist course where I go into depth more on the double stops. So we have this as our first phrase. We're playing the A double stop down to the F sharp, the 6th. So we have a pickup, then right back up, and we're quoting that melody. All the way up to the C sharp and E, and then back down. Now we're going to add our pinky in to highlight the flat 7 with some palm muting there. So we have now we're going to chromatically connect E to F sharp. And then we're going to slide up to the C sharp and E, and then I'm going to flatten my second finger and grab E and A, and then bring it right back down to my A and C sharp. That's a quick phrase. So we have for most of these double stops, I am assigning my pick to the 4th string and then my middle and ring finger to this 3rd and 2nd string. When I come up to play this phrase, I'm using my pick and middle finger to grab the first 2 strings, and then pick and middle to grab the 3rd and 2nd to come down. So this is all over the A chord. Now we're setting up the A to A7 leading to the 4 chord. Our phrase will sound like this. So I'm sliding up now to my A chord C shape. I have my double stop A and C sharp here at the 10th and 9th frets. So I'm going to slide up, move down a whole step to the flat 7 and 2nd, down to the E and A, and then I'm going to play a blues lick. So I'm grabbing the double stops on the 3rd and 2nd string. We have E flat and G, D and F sharp, C and E. So it's basically a blues lick just going, but I'm harmonizing it. And then play A, back up to the double stops, D and F sharp on the 7th fret, and then a slight little bend nudging up the C and E. So I have this A7 lick, very reminiscent of a Jerry Reed style double stop idea. To lead me into the 4 chord. So we have the D chord. Our phrase for this will be so we're working out of our D chord G shape here. We're bending the E and G sharp up slightly to an F and A, so that's like the flat 3rd and 5th of D. So and then releasing it down to the D double stop. So just bend up, pick it again, release, release and pick. And then the same thing here on the B and E across the 9th frets. We have the B going up to a C and then the E going up to like an F. And then releasing to the A and D on the 7th frets. From there, we're setting up a 4 to sharp 4 diminished. The sharp 4 diminished in typically Western swing and swing is used to lead us back to the 1. And from Redd's Western swing and swing influence, he's putting this in there. So we have a D sharp diminished chord off of the F sharp, so that's the 3rd. So we're going to play it right here. We have F sharp, C, D sharp, and A. And I'm going to play pick and then use my middle, ring, and pinky to hit every note in that chord. And I'm going to drop it down to the D sharp or E flat in the bass. This is a trick with diminished chords. They move in groups of 3 or every 3 frets. So we can do that. We can play and land here on the D to D sharp diminished. We're now moving back to the A chord. We're playing an A6 open string idea that's reminiscent of a Chet Atkins or Jerry Reed open string lick. This is one that Redd likes to use in his playing. So we're starting here in this A6, and this phrase will sound like this. We'll go. So I'm sliding with my pinky up into the E, and then I'm going to do a backwards banjo roll using my middle and pick to play the A and F sharp on the 2nd and 3rd string. So we have like so. Then I'm going to take my first finger and slide it up to the C sharp and then pull off. When I pull off, I'm now going to come back in a backwards banjo roll. So I have, so slowly I have, from there, I'm moving into another styled Jerry Reed lick where I'm using the A chord as my bass here. So I have the A and the basic E shape, and my double stop lick will sound like this. I'm going to go. So I'm just playing around this chord shape. The thing that's kind of unique about this lick is the movement from the A and E to the A and E flat, the flat 5, introducing that bluesy sound. So I have, and just enclosing the A and C sharp there. So this whole phrase of the A chord will sound like this. We have, now we're moving on to the 5 chord, the E chord. I'm going to switch my pickup selector back to get more of a bite sound, and I'm going to highlight this E9 chord and then quote the D7 or 4 chord lick at the ending of James Burton's original solo on Working Man Blues. So these 2 phrases will sound like this. I'll go. So I'm playing this E9 here. I'm starting on the 5th string and then pick, middle, and ring, highlighting the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. And then up to this E triad and then sliding it off. So I have, and then dropping now to my D9. And that's a nice consistent move of an E9 down to a D9. We're just kind of carbon copying that chord shape down a whole step. My last phrase will be another kind of Jerry Reed double stop idea. And it'll sound like this. It's coming in on beat 2, so go 1. So this is a lick that's based out of our A chord C shape. I'm playing a slide up to the double stop, so 1, and then I'm going to play the next double stop of E and A, the next double stop of C sharp and E, then I'm going to move down to a quick 5 chord. This is the E right here. I'm going to highlight the B and D, the 5 and flat 7 of E. And then I'm going to now move into an A7 chord from a half step below. And then I'm going to take this move here, the G and C sharp, and bring it now to the D and E, the D and G sharp, that's the flat 7, and the 3rd of E, highlighting the E chord, a quick 5, and then moving that right back down to the C sharp and G highlighting the A7. So we have some quick movements of 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Now in between all of those double stops, we have some palm muted 5th string bass notes. So one more time, so that you can hear the palm mutes in this phrase, we have 1. Now to wrap up this solo, I'd recommend taking a note from Redd's use of all of these double stops. He's really taking the original solo of James Burton and harmonizing it. What you could do in your own playing, if you're performing this live, you could start off with a solo in the style of James Burton, where it's single note, and then to increase the intensity of the solo and build upon it, you can begin to harmonize that original solo with the added double stop notes. This is a great way of crafting and developing a solo.